Ever visited a place that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up? Walked through a cemetery and felt an unexpected chill? Maybe you've seen something you just can't explain. Our fascination with the paranormal is a purely natural human instinct, whether we're searching for meaning or just craving a good scare. But the world isn't just about dazzling skyscrapers like the Burj Khalifa or iconic landmarks like the Tower of London. Hidden in the shadows of history are places that hold something different, something unsettling. From abandoned hospitals still echoing with whispers to Gothic castles where the past refuses to stay buried, these locations aren't for the faint of heart. Some are so eerie that even skeptics think thrice before stepping inside. But if you dare, stay tuned, because these 15 haunted spots might just be too freaky to visit. Number 15. La Recoleta Cemetery, Buenos Aires, Argentina. La Recoleta Cemetery is a hauntingly beautiful burial ground built after the Argentine War of Independence from 1810 to 1818 to house the country's wealthiest citizens. Lined with ornate mausoleums and eerie statues, it's no surprise that ghost stories linger within its walls. The most chilling legend is that of Rufina Cambaceres, whose fate echoes Edgar Allan Poe's The Premature Burial. On her 19th birthday in 1902, Rufina was declared dead and placed inside her family's mausoleum. A few days later, a cemetery worker noticed something odd. The coffin had moved, and the lid was broken from the inside. When they opened it, they found scratch marks, and her hands and face were bruised as if she had tried to escape. She had been buried alive. While her story remains a legend, Rufina's Art Nouveau tomb, featuring a statue of her eerily holding open her own crypt door, continues to draw curious or reckless visitors. Number 14. LaLaurie Mansion, New Orleans, USA. For many, New Orleans is best known for Mardi Gras, jazz bands, and revelry. What else would you expect from a city whose motto is Laissez le bon temps rouler? But it's not all good times. New Orleans has a long, unsettling history filled with gruesome stories, creaky houses, and shadowy cemeteries. There's a reason it's known as America's most haunted city. Head to the historic French Quarter and you'll find landmarks with chilling pasts, none more infamous than LaLaurie Mansion. During one of Delphine LaLaurie's extravagant parties, a fire broke out, leading to a horrifying discovery. An enslaved woman was found chained to the kitchen stove, admitting she had set the fire herself. As citizens rushed in, they discovered a barred attic door. Inside was a nightmare. Enslaved people were tortured, shackled to walls, and subjected to gruesome experiments. Body parts littered the floor. Furious, the townspeople stormed the mansion, but the LaLauries had already escaped in a waiting carriage. It's said that the ghosts of their victims appeared immediately, and to this day, the mansion is the most haunted place in the city. Number 13. Catacombs, Paris, France. Underneath the polished streets of Paris, hidden in the city's depths, lies a grim underworld. Over 200 miles of catacombs, each winding tunnel lined with the bones of long-dead Parisians. With its eerie silence, endless passageways, and unsettling atmosphere, it's easy to see why a few of the living have gotten lost among the dead. One such unfortunate soul was Philibert Aspert. A doorkeeper at Val-de-Grâce Military Hospital during the French Revolution, Aspert entered the catacombs through a staircase in the hospital's courtyard and was never seen alive again. Why he ventured in remains a mystery. Some say he was trying to break into a nearby brewery, a reminder that crime never pays. But whatever his reason, his light failed, and he found himself trapped in total darkness. He wandered aimlessly for days until he succumbed to starvation. In a cruel twist of fate, his body was discovered 11 years later, only a few feet from an exit. Number 12. Devil's Pool, Cairns, Australia. With a name like Devil's Pool, you'd expect there to be an unsettling reason behind it, and you'd be right. Nestled deep in Australia's lush Queensland rainforest, Babinda Boulders may look like a picture-perfect swimming hole, but the warning sign at its edge tells a different story. According to Aboriginal folklore, a young woman named Ulana was forced into marriage with an elder from her own tribe, the Yidinji. But love had other plans. She fell for a man named Diga, from a traveling tribe. The lovers fled, but their happiness was short-lived. Captured by the elders, Ulana broke free and threw herself into the water, calling for Diga to follow. As she vanished beneath the surface, the land trembled, boulders tumbled, and water surged violently, taking her life. To this day, locals say her spirit remains, searching for Diga. Swimmers have reported being pulled under by unseen hands, and her face is said to appear in the rushing waters. Since records began, 17 lives have been lost, 16 of them gentlemen. Number 11. Akershus Fortress, Oslo, Norway. Built in 1290 by King Håkon V, Akershus Fortress was designed to protect Norway from outside attacks. The fortress was considered impenetrable, fending off invaders for centuries. Over time, it became a burial site for Norwegian royalty and later, a prison with a reputation for brutal conditions. Visitors today report hearing whispers, scratching sounds, and chains rattling in the dungeon. Among the many rumored spirits lurking in the fortress, two are especially infamous. Malcanison, the demon dog, is said to guard the gates, and legend has it that anyone who sees him will die within 3 months. It's believed he was buried alive on the castle grounds, his anger keeping him bound to this world. The other well-known ghost is Ola Høiland, a legendary Norwegian thief known for his repeated prison escapes, including one from Akershus. While he managed to escape once, the prison's harsh conditions eventually broke him, and he died by suicide 3 years later. Number 10. Poveglia Island, Venice, Italy. Poveglia Island is one of Italy's most infamous locations, blurring the line between history and ghostly legend. Originally inhabited in the 7th century, it was abandoned after the Chioggia War. By the 18th century, it had been repurposed as a quarantine station for plague victims. According to local lore, thousands of plague-ridden bodies were either burned or buried in mass graves. Some claim that half the island's soil is made up of human remains. In the 20th century, a psychiatric hospital was built on the island, giving rise to terrifying rumors. Patients allegedly claimed to see the ghosts of plague victims, and one doctor, known for conducting inhumane experiments, was said to have jumped from the clock tower in a fit of madness, only to be swallowed by a mysterious fog. Though the island is officially closed, its eerie ruins can still be seen from Lido di Venezia or Malamocco. A glimpse might be all you need. Now let's move to number 9, Versailles, France. Versailles, home to Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, is one of France's most opulent palaces, but behind its grandeur lie whispers of ghostly encounters. The most famous story is the Moberly-Jourdain incident, an alleged time slip that has puzzled historians for over a century. In 1901, British academics Anne Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain visited Petit Trianon, Marie Antoinette's private retreat. On their way, they claimed to see people in 18th century dress, including a sinister-looking man they later identified as Comte de Vaudreuil, one of Marie Antoinette's rivals. More eerily, they believed they had seen the Queen herself, sketching in the gardens. The strange atmosphere, landmarks that no longer existed, and a heavy sense of unease made them question whether they had somehow stepped into the past. Was this a haunting memory of Marie Antoinette's final days, or just a case of paranormal hysteria? Number 8. Palazzo Dario, Venice, Italy. With a victim list longer than most serial killers, Palazzo Dario, also known as the house that kills, has more than earned its chilling reputation. Overlooking the Grand Canal, this Venetian palace should be one of the most sought-after properties in the city. Yet for nearly 200 years, it has remained largely empty, its history marked by tragedy, misfortune, and untimely deaths. Built by Giovanni Dario, the curse seemed to begin with his own family. His daughter Marietta died by suicide after her husband's financial ruin. He was later stabbed to death, and their son was killed in an ambush. The pattern continued. American merchant Arbit Abdol fell into financial ruin, Englishman Radon Brown and his partner died by suicide, and famous tenor Mario del Monaco narrowly avoided disaster when he crashed his car before signing the deed. Even Kit Lambert, manager of The Who, died shortly after purchasing the house. Whether a curse or coincidence, locals avoid it, and this house is one of Venice's most feared landmarks. Number 7. Bruges, Belgium. Bruges is known for its medieval charm, romantic canals, and world-class art, but not everything here is picture-perfect. With a history dating back to the 9th century, Bruges has seen its fair share of tragedy and death. And if you ask the locals, there's one ghost story that stands above the rest. In 1498, near the River Ray, a nunnery stood on one side, while an Augustinian monastery sat on the other. A monk from the monastery fell in love with a nun named Hortense. When he discovered an underground tunnel connecting their buildings, he used it to sneak into her quarters. But when Hortense tried to end the affair, the monk's obsession turned deadly. He killed her and hid her body beneath the cellar. To this day, their spirits are said to haunt the building. Hortense appears as a snowy white figure, while the monk's grim-faced ghost still wanders, searching for forgiveness. Locals even call the house Spookhuis, the haunted house. Number 6. Castle of Good Hope, South Africa. Just don't believe in its name. One of Cape Town's oldest buildings, Castle of Good Hope, is infamous for its paranormal activity. Originally a Dutch stronghold, it later served as a prison, where captives were subjected to grueling conditions. Many believe the fortress is haunted by Lady Anne Barnard, the first lady of the colony in the late 18th century. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps and voices echoing through windowless dungeons and endless corridors. Legend has it that prisoners were chained to dungeon walls before the chamber was flooded, leaving them to a slow and terrifying death. Some claim to have seen a giant black dog, only for it to disappear into thin air. And if that's not eerie enough, the fortress bells ring by themselves, sending chills down the spines of those who hear them. For those fascinated by historical hauntings, Castle of Good Hope is a must-visit. Just don't wander alone after dark. Number 5. Driscoll Hotel, USA. Some places are haunted, and then there's the Driscoll Hotel in Austin, Texas, a place where ghostly encounters seem almost routine. Built in 1886 by Colonel Jesse Driscoll, the hotel is said to be haunted by his cigar-smoking spirit, lingering long after his death. Guests often report catching whiffs of cigar smoke, despite the hotel being smoke-free for decades. The most famous ghost, however, is Samantha Houston, the 4-year-old daughter of a Texas senator. In 1887, she tragically fell to her death on the grand staircase while chasing a ball. Since then, visitors have heard the laughter of a child, and some even claim to see a ball bouncing on its own. Another resident spirit, Peter Lawless, lived at the hotel for 31 years before passing in 1917. Guests have seen his ghost wandering near the elevators, and some say the lifts take them to floors without pressing a button. Number 4. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. Perched on an extinct volcano, Edinburgh Castle is one of Scotland's most haunted locations. With centuries of battles, executions, and tortures, the fortress carries the weight of countless restless spirits. One of the most unsettling encounters is that of the dung prisoner. Desperate to escape, he hid inside a dung barrel, unaware that it would be dumped over the castle walls. His ghost still roams the battlements, where visitors have reported a horrific stench and the sensation of being pushed. The tunnels beneath the castle are said to be haunted by the ghostly Piper Boy, whose music can still be heard echoing through the underground passageways. Then there's the Drummer Boy, who only appears before a great disaster, his music serving as an ominous warning. We don't know about you, but we like to watch it on our phones. Number 3. Bangar Fort, India. Nestled in the Aravalli Hills, Bangar Fort is often referred to as one of the most haunted places in India. Built in the 17th century by Raja Madho Singh, the fort's abandoned ruins are steeped in superstition and eerie legends. One tale tells of Baba Balao Nath, a holy man who lived in the area before the fort was built. He allowed its construction only on the condition that no shadow would fall on his home. When the king's grandson ignored this warning, the town was doomed to destruction. Another legend speaks of Princess Ratnavati and a sorcerer who attempted to trick her into falling in love with him. When she discovered his plan, she threw the enchanted perfume at a boulder, crushing him. With his last breath, he cursed the town, leading to its downfall. Well, no matter. Whatever the case, this fort is scary, and you can Google about it. Number 2. Old Changi Hospital, Singapore. Now an abandoned relic, Old Changi Hospital is one of Singapore's most haunted places. Built by the British in 1935, it was later occupied by the Japanese during World War II, where it was used as both a military hospital and an alleged torture facility. Visitors claim to have seen shadowy figures, heard disembodied screams, and even felt the presence of spirits. The most terrifying reports center around a room with chains hanging from the walls where some believe prisoners were tortured. Bloodstains were once found on the floors, further fueling speculation about its grim past. Today, the hospital remains off-limits, but thrill seekers still attempt to sneak inside, only to flee after experiencing unexplainable phenomena. So, would you like to visit it? Number 1. Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. Life is short, but if you want to make it even shorter, spend a night at Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, one of Canada's most haunted places. This grand retreat, hidden in Banff National Park, has hosted royalty, celebrities, and, allegedly, a few ghosts who refuse to check out. One of its darkest secrets? Room 873. A family was reportedly murdered inside, and after guests kept witnessing bloody handprints on mirrors and terrifying screams, the room was sealed off forever. Then there's the Ghost Bride, a woman who fell to her death on the grand staircase. She's often seen gliding through the halls or dancing alone in the ballroom. In 2014, Canada's Royal Mint even released a collector's coin and stamp honoring the Ghost Bride, because some guests never leave, even in death. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one. And remember, if you love life, don't visit these places.